In 2020, there were 64,196 children in foster care in California, according to Lilliput Families. I know this system needs to be reformed, but many states wish to privatize foster care in order to lessen financial strain. This would be a mistake. I want you to join me against the privatization of foster care in the United States, specifically because these agencies value profit over the youth they are supposed to protect, are rampant with abuse, and these programs are usually religious and discriminate against the LGBTQ community. Firstly, I will talk about how these programs are typically for-profit and act as corporations. They are corporatized in order to cut costs and limit childcare. According to the article, Does Privatization Matter? An Exploration of Foster Care Permanency Outcome by Allison Dunnigan in 2018, she stated, in a study of the differences in the workforce of public and private agencies, Hollingsworth and colleagues found that public agency workers had higher levels of education and related work experience, and that private agency workers had more negative attitudes regarding parents of children in the child care system. This is just one example of how these private agencies cut costs on those they hire. Another article I read, titled How Privatization Increases Inequality, written in 2016, stated, however, the effort to streamline social services provisions while decreases labor costs impacts the quality of the relationship between social service providers and their clients. Unfortunately, social services privatization has led to an environment where the culture and goals of social service provision has been corporatized to maximize revenues at the expense of meaningful client assistance. This is another example of how these agencies are corporatized, and using foster children for revenue can be equated to child labor. Next, we'll talk about the abuse in privatized foster care. In the article, Youth in Privatized Foster Care, What You as an Advocate Need to Know by Jesselyn Schwartz, written in 2017, stated inadequate screening of foster parents and others in their home, increasing workloads for social workers, high social worker turnover, filling beds using a quota system, and hiring unlicensed workers are just a few of the root causes to rampant abuse and neglect of youth in privatized foster care. These unlicensed professionals are not prepared to work with these traumatized children. And hiring these unlicensed professionals are just another example of how these systems wish to cut costs. In the article, Confidentially Acts to Shield Abuse in Foster Care, written in 2000 by Patricia Callahan, I learned of a 2-year-old boy named Miguel Arias Barra, who was put in the care of Sharon Kramer and her boyfriend. Inadequate screenings of these two, who had an arrest record, led to the child's death in their care from their abuse. They were put there by a privatized foster agency. Lastly, we will talk about how foster care agencies discriminate against LGBTQ families and youth. In the 116th Congress, I saw many stats about foster care, but just a few stood out for me. LGBTQ foster youth are 2 times as likely to face poor treatment and are more likely to face discrimination, harassment, and violence. 60% of homeless LGBTQ youth were once in foster care. These youth have it hard already, and more religion in the system from privatization would only increase the problem. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand said, with so many American children in need of a permanent home, we should not be preventing loving, caring, and responsible adults from welcoming these children in their home. This is about a private religious foster care agency who is not allowing LGBTQ parents to adopt children, despite being fully qualified. This prevents children from leaving the system and finding homes. In conclusion, we discussed privatized foster care and how it is a for-profit organization, how they are rampant with abuse, especially towards the LGBTQ community. I believe that while foster care needs to be reformed, privatizing is a mistake. There are better solutions out there. I believe that adding to the budget of government-owned of foster corporations, as well as adding mental health and LGBTQ classes for foster parents and social workers, would be a start. Thank you.